In an ideal world, what is your monthly dream budget? What I'm looking for here is one number that you're going to have it as a budget to spend on a monthly basis. What's your unlimited dream budget? Go ahead.
You're still asking the wrong guy because I can go in so many different directions.
I need one number from you. One number. And my personal dream budget after going through the spreadsheet was $50,000 a month. I'm not going to focus on need. I'm not going to apologize for what I want. I'm just going to want what I want. And then I'm going to figure out how I can go make it happen. What's the purpose of having money if you don't want to allocate and use it as a resource?
Treading water is the same as drowning to people like you and me. You better start swimming. Welcome to I'm the One podcast. I'm your host, Rob Green.
So this is a thought that a lot of people have, is that money equals freedom. What's your take on that?
Well, I think it's too simplistic. I don't think money actually equals freedom. And there's a couple of reasons behind that. One, I don't think, first of all, people don't have any idea on how to assess how much money they have and how much money they need.
Okay.
Because they think, I believe most people think they need a lot more money than they actually need to live a specific lifestyle. And it's easy to throw out numbers. I need 10 million, I need 20 million, I need 30 million, I need 1 million. Whatever that number is, it's really easy to pick out round numbers. You actually, if you take some time and do some exercises around it, I think it's fascinating to understand, like, how much money do I really need to live a certain lifestyle? And then also, are you capable of thinking like you need to think to get to that mindset?
You just lost me.
Perfect. So I think most people have the inability to think, how much money do I need and what do I really want?
Okay.
And self-awareness. So there's this really great exercise that I've done with dozens and dozens of friends. It's called dream budget exercise. Are you familiar with this?
Mm-hmm.
So here's the concept, and we can play along right now. This is a great example.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you the question, and I just want you to answer. Just think quickly and give me an answer.
Got it.
In an ideal world, what is your monthly dream budget? Now, when I mean by budget, money you're going to spend every month, and that's everything. That is house, cars, travel, whatever it is. What I'm looking for here is one number that you're going to have it as a budget to spend on a monthly basis. What's your unlimited dream budget? Go ahead.
You're still asking the wrong guy because I can go in so many different directions.
I need one number from you. One number.
Okay. The budget that I'm going to spend on everything so if I own 3 houses and
whatever it is.
Okay.
What's your monthly dream budget?
Well, dream would be unlimited, but realistic dream would be, let's go. I don't want to be greedy. Let's go 25,000.
I'm so glad you just mentally went through that with me, because this is what everybody does. Because your first answer is unlimited.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But what you just did is you applied a mental filter and you even said it out loud, which I love even better. I never said realistic. I said, what's your unlimited dream budget?
I know.
And you had a mental limiting belief right there.
Oh, dude.
That you've got to bring it down.
Yeah.
And you've got to be realistic. Right?
Yeah.
So what's fascinating about this question, the most common answer I've received when I ask this question is $10,000 a month.
That sounds about right.
The second most common is $25,000.
All right.
I've had as low as $4,000 a month. I had to smack the guy because I was like, listen, I don't think he understood the game. But he was like, 4,000. His answer was, I only need 4,000.
Sure.
Right? And so I said, well, that's not really, I need you to think bigger. Think bigger. And I think he got up to 10. And what's fascinating to me is, like, a lot of people limit their beliefs on what's possible, right? So they go, well, I only need this much. I only want this much, or I don't need anything beyond that, right? And so what I recommend people do is really think about this, first of all. And then second of all, if you're having trouble with eliminating your limiting beliefs, pull out a spreadsheet. I did this exercise with my buddy a few years ago. We were flying back from Spain. We went to a mastermind there. We were flying home. We were on the plane, and we did this exercise together. So I pulled out a Excel. I started putting in house, cars, chef, travel. I've got a wife and 2 kids, like big numbers, right? And my personal dream budget after going through the spreadsheet was $50,000 a month.
Okay.
And that was going big.
Yeah.
Right. My house wasn't paid off at the time. Once you pay off the house is gone. Cars are all paid off. Cars are gone. Right. And you're like, whoa, okay. So what are our big expenses we've got? My number one is travel.
Okay.
So if you're going to travel first class with a family, it's expensive.
Yeah.
And so that was my number one line item. And then you go through and you're like, man, it's less money than my dream.
Right.
Doesn't need that much money. Right. So I recommend everybody go through this, pull up a spreadsheet and put it in there. I think you'll be shocked at the number to live the dream lifestyle It'll probably be more than the 10,000, I think, for most people, but it allows you to dream a little bigger. What does that mean? Is it 3 houses? Do you really want 3 houses? If it is, dream budget. And then once you have a number, how I work, I can start thinking about how do I reverse engineer to get there. So for me, it was how do I have $50,000 to spend every month on a dream budget? And then I reverse engineered and said, okay, well, I got to pay taxes. I've got.
You do?
Yeah, well, that's what they say. So I've got to figure out a way to pay taxes and then still have that $50,000 a month if I want to allocate it to these things to live that dream lifestyle. And at the time, that's not how much money I had on a monthly basis to be able to do that. But once I was able to think about it, I had a goal and a number that I could reverse engineer to be able to make to spend that money on a monthly basis.
I like that.
So what I love about this is 2 things, more than 2 things probably. Number one, it gives you a real clear picture if you have some limiting beliefs.
Oh,
right?
We all do.
We all do. But it was really fast. In your example, it was really fast to go from unlimited to 25. You even said it. You mumbled it. 30, but I don't want to be greedy. 25.
Do you want to know what's funny right now?
Yeah.
Is as soon as you said that, so I have an exercise that I do with my clients, and there's my life, which is what you're doing right now, and you go through 8 areas of life, and then there's a dream life. Like, what is your, and almost every time this happens to me, and I go, no, you got to do it again. Because they just go into the practicality and the limiting belief. So it was so funny that you just did it to me.
Yeah. we all have them. We all have them. But I think just getting aware of what those are. And again, this is not a need question. This is like a dream. How do I create the dream life? Because I truly believe.
Can I change my answer?
Yeah, now you can change your answer. What would you say now?
Oh, I'd say 100,000 at least.
Okay.
Yeah, at least. I mean, if it's going to be my dream, I'd go mill. Because I'm going to kill it, and that's fine. Not that I need a mill, but I'm going to have it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because the word need comes up a lot. We talk to people about like dreams and budgeting.
Yeah.
And it's almost like some people sometimes feel guilty about wanting more. I'm a strategic coach. Dan Sullivan writes these little books, 1 a quarter for 25 years he's committed to. And one of them is Want What You Want, I believe it's called.
Okay.
Absolutely love this. It's like a 70-page book. I absolutely love it. And it's basically, he made the decision.
What book is it? 70 pages? I already like it. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's all his little books. So I think he's about 10 years in. He's committed to writing 25 years, 1 book a quarter.
Wow.
And they're all these little, like, one concept
I love
books.
it. Can I steal that?
You can borrow it from him.
Okay.
Borrow from him. But
I'm not going to steal it. I'll borrow it.
He definitely has some winners in those books. And Want What You Want, he made a decision, and I forget the story, maybe 30 years ago. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to focus on need. I'm not going to apologize for what I want. I'm just going to want what I want. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to figure out how I can go make it happen.
Yeah.
And that was his approach to it. And I absolutely love that concept to try to get myself away from, well, I only need this much, or I should only want this much. Just want what you want. And then I think a lot of times your subconscious will help you get to the point where you can solve for that problem.
Yeah.
And just having the confidence that I can go do it. But you got to start somewhere. And I think starting somewhere with a real number of what that number is and self-awareness, it changes as you go over time.
Sure.
But even if we break down and we say, all right, let's just say it's $25,000.
Yeah.
Let's just say that is a dream budget. And that's a number you're like, man, if I got to that, I'm living my dream lifestyle. That's and
I could, the way I live.
Sure. $5,000.
Because I want to be on the beach just surfing, doing yoga and hanging out.
Yeah, $5,000 a month for a house, $1,000, $2,000 for a car. I mean, go whatever number you want.
Yeah.
And you obviously can decide how you want to allocate that money on a monthly basis, right? Everybody's gonna have a different, what's important to them, a house cleaner versus a chef versus whatever it might be, right? I think it really gives you something to shoot for. And then you can start thinking it's a bite-sized piece to get to the goal you want and live the life you want. What I mean by that is so many people go, I need $10 million.
Okay.
I need
like in
$20 million.
Total? Like
right, yeah. They think in assets, which I think is not a bad way. I mean, I think for me, the dream situation is I have cash flow on a monthly basis and I have a lot of assets that can protect me in case something goes wrong.
Sure.
So for me, the cash flow is from businesses. And then how do I also have a large nest egg that, get to a goal of bulletproof, as I call it? How do you get to a goal that if you, accidentally, if something happens and you get sued, you're able to withstand a significant lawsuit and be bulletproof financially.
And then you're also, from that big chunk of money, the interest that you're earning on investments.
So it's 2 sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
One is a net worth and one is a cash flow situation. And so ideally you want to have both is a dream. But if you could break down that number and you go, all right, if 25,000 or even 10,000 is my dream budget, how do I get to that point? And it becomes a lot more attainable for people because now it's bite size.
Right.
How do I make 10,000 a month, let's say, starting in January?
Right.
Okay. that feels much more attainable than how do I get to 10 million?
Right.
That's like, oh my God, I don't even want to start.
100%.
Yeah, I'm going to go watch TV. I'm going to get on TikTok right now. I can't even think about getting to 10 million, right? And so breaking things down that are difficult or complicated into small bite-sized pieces allows you the opportunity to actually have a game plan and try to make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all about here, is trying to take action and making life happen, become the one, so that you are the one in control of your life and living the dream life you want. Because at the end of the day, and again, I've said this before, but I think being an entrepreneur is the key to an extraordinary life. And it gives you that empowerment and the ability to make changes in your life that gives you the opportunity to live that life and have that dream budget and have that dream schedule. It doesn't mean you necessarily want to sit on the beach and work less or work more.
I can still work on the beach.
So back to the original question.
Yeah, there you go.
That question is back to freedom. Money can give you the freedom, but doesn't necessarily give you the freedom. And I know some guys with a lot of money that are very frugal and they have plenty of money to spend, and they mentally won't spend the money. They'll spend more of their time, which is incredibly valuable, to save $500 or $300. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's literally negligible in your lifestyle.
Right.
Why are you going and researching this $50 difference in whatever it might be?
Is that why they have so much money in the first place, though?
I don't think so. I mean, the ones I'm thinking of are more entrepreneurs that sold businesses and brands.
So do you think that's a waste of time for them?
100%.
Okay.
So how I think about this is, how much do you value your time? Have you ever done that calculation for yourself?
Which one?
What is your time worth per hour?
I don't think I've actually technically done it, but I've heard it.
I think this is another good tool, goes along with the dream budget, because you've got to figure out how to get there, right? Yeah. If you value your time at $30 an hour, or let's just say 50, it's an easier number to remember. If you value your time at $50 an hour, you're making $100,000 a year, approximately. Okay. So at $50 an hour, any and all tasks that you don't enjoy, that cost you less than $50 an hour to hire someone, should be delegated and outsourced.
Is this a 24-hour period? 10, 8?
So $50 an hour in an annual perspective, is 2,080 hours. Yeah. 52 weeks times 40. And then you're going to have 50 times 2,080 is roughly 104,000.
Okay.
So
now we're breaking it down to the hourly.
The hourly rate. So a great example. I hate landscaping. So I have no desire to ever cut my grass the rest of my life. I can pay somebody to come out and mow my lawn and trim the hedges. And let's say they're there and it costs me, I don't know what it costs, $100.
Right.
Every other week, let's say. It takes them 2 hours and there's multiple people. It would probably take me 4 hours to go do that.
Sure.
So that values my time, if I do that on a Saturday, at $100 for 4 hours. So I'm paying myself essentially $25 an hour to go do something I personally hate. I know a lot of guys that love it. They're like very proud of their grass.
Sure.
I'm the one that fertilizes it and I cut the grass. More power to you. But I'm not saying things that you enjoy to take them away. I'm saying something you hate doing. I'm valuing my time at $25 an hour, right? Yep. If I value my time at $25 an hour, there's a whole lot of other tasks I could be taking on to do $25 an hour work. So as I think about it, it's like anything that's less than what I value my time at, I should be delegating, outsourcing, finding someone else. And most likely I'm going to find somebody else that's better at it and probably enjoys it more than I do. And then that frees up my time, because I think that's where I think a lot of people get confused about money and time. Money for me is the ability. I use money as a tool to buy back my time.
So money is buying you free time, freedom.
Correct. You can choose to do that. I do that.
Yeah.
Not everybody does.
So money does buy freedom
if you use it right.
Okay.
It's a capability to do it.
And I also think, like, we talk about, like, when you get so much money, a lot of times I think money now you get, depending on how you're spending it, it constricts you, because now you own all of these things. And a lot of times that means they own you. And then your freedom is actually the opposite. It's the opposite effect.
Yeah. If you don't actually then delegate or outsource the management of properties that you own, you bought yourself a job.
Right. It happens all the time.
All the time.
I'm like, oof.
Now, if you like that, again, for me, it comes back to enjoyment. Like, time is short. If I like doing something, that's a different consideration for me than not liking something. Everything I hate doing, I delegate or outsource. I try to buy my time from not doing it. Now, there are things I don't like to do, handyman stuff around the house, but there might be an opportunity to teach my kids how to do it. Right? Some basic plumbing. I'll go do it
YouTube
to get the value out of teaching the kid.
Yeah.
So to teach them how to do what I taught them recently, what a P-trap was. You know what a P-trap is?
No.
Oh, man. under your sink, you open up the cabinet on the sink, there's a P-trap. It's a little, the pipe goes like this,
Yeah.
and then it goes up
Yeah.
and then out.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a U.
Okay.
Okay. Do you know why that exists?
No.
So it doesn't allow, because the way it's designed, there's water that sits in the bottom of that U.
Oh, okay.
That water that sits in the bottom of the U doesn't allow fumes to come back up through the drain from the sewage system.
Interesting.
So that simple little design prevents it. Now, it does get clogged sometimes. I have 2 daughters that have a lot of hair.
Yeah.
So as the hair goes down the drain, this is a sink, it gets clogged and the water starts to run slower.
I love it. I just learned. I like it.
You got to go in. You got to just, they're plastic. You just got to take the pipes off, unscrew them. You now have a U shape with a bunch of gunk in it.
Yeah.
And I did this with my girls last year, and they were mortified at what was in there.
What was in there? Yeah.
And I said, listen,
this is you, by the way.
we have to clean it out. And they thought, what? I gave them rubber gloves. There may have been some tears shed, but they had to go in there and reach in and pull all the stuff out of the P-trap. And they were less enthusiastic about that. But I said, listen, like, we now have a drain. It took us a few minutes. We now have a drain that works perfectly fine, and you learn something new.
Right.
Those are the kind of things that, I don't want to do. I could definitely delegate or outsource, but there are opportunities for me to teach the kids and just about life. If we get a flat tire, kids are going to learn how to change a flat tire. I think there's certain things in life you should just understand how they work and how to do them, and do them once or twice. And there's value in that. And then being able, because it also gives you understanding. If I had never cut my own grass or my own hedges, I may not understand how long it should take to do that. There is some value of having some like contextual understanding of whatever you're delegating or outsourcing. Because if you don't know that, there's a lot of memes out there about some women who know nothing about cars. There's some really funny ones.
Sure.
Where they go and they'll try to make their boyfriend or their husband or their dad angry. And they're like, hey, listen, I just got the car tires inflated. I'm like, oh yeah, where'd you go? She goes, yeah, it was $100. I paid for the premium air. And the dad or the husband, what? Where did you go? You paid $100 to get air in your tires? Yeah, it was the premium air, Dad. And the guy loses their mind about it. Like, there's no premium air, it's air. We're going there right now. Take your $800 back. And they lose their mind, right? They're messing with them. But I mean, if you don't have context about anything, how much should it cost?
Right.
It's very, cars are the easiest thing. Mechanics.
Yeah.
You just don't have a concept of it.
An experience is the best, right? It's the best.
Experience is the worst. Is the best.
Yeah.
100%. So I think that it's a really good tool to understand how to do things. Valuing your time on an hourly basis is critical, which ties into the dream budget. Because then if you can take out those activities that you don't love, it frees up more time, but also more energy for things that you do enjoy doing. Then it gives you a better chance to take action and get to whatever goal you have. And I think this is what I love about why we're doing this. I want people to take action today.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, what can somebody listening right now do today to get onto this?
I got 2 easy ones for them. Number 1, how much money do you make right now per year? Divide that by 2,000. That's your annual rate of compensation. If you make $70,000 a year, it's $35 an hour. If you make $100,000 a year, it's $50 an hour. It doesn't have, it's 2,080 technically, but everybody's got 2 weeks of vacation. Just use 2,000 as a round number.
Yeah,
super
makes
easy.
It easy.
Now you have an understanding of how much money you make.
Okay.
Now, not every job or opportunity you can just scale it up. It's not unlimited. I can't go work 124 hours a week or 90 hours a week. So it's not scalable, but it gives you an understanding of a starting point of where you are today.
But if you're an entrepreneur, you work a little harder, you can scale it.
Or I love that you said that, work a little harder. Yes. Or can I find somebody else?
Oh, there you go.
As an entrepreneur to do something that I'm not great at, that they can do and use that as leverage to improve my business and make more money.
Yeah.
Right. And so think about it from that perspective. That's an easy one. Everyone should do that right now. You should understand how much your time is worth.
Yeah.
Second thing is do the dream budget exercise. Pull out a spreadsheet. You know what? We'll post one in the show notes.
Like it.
So we'll post one. I'll do mine. I'll post mine up there. The first one I think I did. I believe I still have it from years ago.
Nice.
And then someone can actually go through and just fill it out. And everybody's going to be different. Everybody has different priorities, different family size. It can be single people.
I think that's huge right there. Because being able to go through that and do that, now you get to not just physically see it, but you get to mentally work through that and then really see. And then some of the times these little things will pop up. You're like, what's going on there?
Yep.
So I love that.
Yeah. And you might value travel more. You might value travel less. House, cars, everyone has different, things that they like to do more and spend the time and energy on it. And so then it gives you a little bit more clarity, and then you get an understanding. I mean, hopefully everyone has an understanding how much they're currently spending. So then that gives you an idea.
They probably, that's
Some people
that's
may
the
not.
thing. And just like people in general, I'm always like, we think we know ourselves, but we know ourselves from 5 years ago, or what we think we know ourselves. And when you get to look at yourself and like with this budget, you get to see things that you're not aware that you're doing, and it's going to wake you up to a lot of different things. So I love this.
Yeah, I mean, I came from zero money. We didn't have a budget. We had no money. So you need a budget when you don't have any money. It's pretty easy. Still spend money.
Yeah.
But, this is something I've had to learn over the years. And as I've started to make a little bit more income, I've had to really think about it and use money as a tool. It's like a bullet in a gun almost, right? And what I mean by that is it's just a tool that we can utilize. I don't want money to paralyze me. Whether you make a small amount or a large amount.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I think too many of us let money control us instead of controlling the money.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Mentally and emotionally, right?
Yep.
So think about it. It's empowering, and that is really creating freedom, is when you get a true understanding of what the money is and what it's capable of, right?
Yeah.
And what money is a store of value, and it's an exchange medium. So it allows us to buy the things we want to buy. It gives you purchasing power, essentially.
Yeah, a couple people just came to my mind right away, very close to me, that money paralyzes them. And it's interesting. I've never really thought about it that way, but that is a perfect analogy.
Sometimes it's lack thereof, and sometimes it's an abundance. And they're so afraid they're going to lose it that they're afraid to spend it. And what's the purpose of having money if you don't want to allocate and use it as a resource? Like if you give somebody who's paralyzed by it $100 million, but they won't spend it, then it doesn't buy them freedom, and it doesn't become a resource that they can use for the benefit of themselves or other people, their family and friends, or
it becomes a burden.
It becomes a burden for a lot of people, and it almost weighs on them, which to me, I struggle with that understanding, because coming from a lack of, I never really thought about it that way. As I can't even imagine money being a problem. I mean, it's insane to me now.
And for anybody out there that it's a burden, just send some over to me and I'll unburden you. How about that?
Yeah, I've asked people about that, and they rarely send it. So I don't really get that issue. If it really burdens you, just send it to me.
Right.
Pull your wallet and give it to me, and no one ever does. So I think it's kind of a false burden for a lot of people. But I think those are the two actions I would recommend people taking today. And again, we'll put some in the show notes around a budget, some type of Excel sheet or something we can do, and people can just go ahead and share it. I think that would be really, really valuable. But
sounds good.
Love this topic. Love talking about the psychology and the finance piece of it, because we all can get better at this. So please subscribe if you like this podcast, so we can share our experience with more people. And then also check us out on YouTube and I'm1.com. And as always, stay curious and never stop becoming the one.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with friends. Visit I'm1.com and ask me anything. And as always, stay curious and never stop becoming the one.